Then when I look at my phone, I'm like, oh, there's 16 comments from people.
Yeah, nobody ever comments on my live streams.
Hey, you get that guy from work, don't you?
Oh, yeah, but that's the only one.
There it goes. Alright. Say something, Josh?
Hi. What else do you want me to say?
Say something, Josh? I just want to hear you. Hi. Okay. Alright. So what's up, everybody? I'm Ted, and this is Josh. And
Hi, everybody.
Do a review of Super. So this is, obviously, you guys are going to be watching this now, which is no one's here, or in the future. So if you come somewhere in the between of all this, don't worry, we're going to cut this up, and we're going to put each individual arc we talk about in its own video throughout the weeks. Me and Josh tried to do this before, and we did do it, honestly. We had it done. But because of social distancing,
we had the first two arcs done.
Yeah, we had the first 2 arcs done. And because of social distancing, we can't do it at Josh's house. I'm going to keep saying that just in case everyone doesn't think we're just not doing them. We can't go anywhere right now. So we're trying to do it on PlayStation. And I didn't want to live stream because I didn't want nothing to be just still in the background like now, but you're going to have to suffer with it. And we were under an hour time constraint because the PlayStation clip can only hold an hour. And knowing us, we like going in depth with everything, so it kind of had to end it where we were at. And so now we're live streaming it, and we're gonna go over it again. This time we have enough time in the world, well, until 6, obviously, and I hope it doesn't take that long. But,
oh God, I hope it does not take that
long. But now we actually have to go off and do what we want to do. So yeah, so we're going to talk about Dragon Ball Super in a whole. We're starting from the first arc, God of Destruction Beerus Saga is what it's called. God of Destruction. And we understand that it's a movie. We're going to talk about the anime, and at the end we're going to talk about the differences between this one and then Resurrection F, which is the Golden Frieza Saga. So the first one on my agenda is what we got, because now we got an agenda, people, because this we have to hit every spot. And before...
Ted over here, he worked tirelessly through the night to get this set up. So
dude, I passed out writing this at...
round of applause.
I passed out writing this at 3 o'clock. It's not perfect, but
this
I finished
this man
2
deserves
hours
a
ago.
Huge round of applause, though.
Yeah, because this was hard. I literally had to basically rewatch everything, look up everything before this. And I feel like I'm officially done doing Dragon Ball videos after this. I hit it, because oh my god, some of this stuff I wrote on here is just like, bro. Yeah, but just to let you guys know, as little filler there is in Dragon Ball Super, we're not talking about it. It has nothing to do with the main story or the main arc. So, like, Goku fighting Beerus, who's dressed as Monaka, not talking about it. The Arali episode, not talking about it. Copy Vegeta, we're not talking about it. Goten and Trunks going to find a gift for Videl, not talking about it. You know, stuff that doesn't maintain to the original arc or the plot, we're not talking about it. And if we do have time and we feel like we're going to talk about it, we can, because I'm pretty sure there's only one that we can comment on, and that's the Copy Vegeta, and that's the other Vegeta from the original dub. What's it called?
The Ocean dub.
Yeah, the Ocean dub, and that's the only thing that is interesting about that. But and Vegeta second on a pacifier. Other than that, there's nothing interesting to talk about that. So main things, and yeah, so let's get it started. So God of Destruction Saga. So obviously before this we had GT, and you already know my feelings about that. But we're not going to talk about GT, but it was a hit and miss for a lot of people, and then that ended.
A lot of misses.
Now Super came back after all these years, and it was actually a connection to the end of Dragon Ball Z, of where Z ended off. It's in between the end of the Buu saga, which is 3 months, 6 months, right? Which one was it?
Something like that. It might have even been a couple of... Well, no, you're right. I think it was just a few months.
Yeah, it was a few months
Wasn't even a full year yet.
Yeah, after the Boo saga, and right before they meet Oob at the end of Z. So a big chunk. And so, first one I have on this we didn't talk about in the last one is, how did you feel about when you first heard Dragon Ball? So, because we got the movies, we thought we were getting movies at the start. That's it. We thought Dragon Ball Z was coming back in movies, and I was okay with it. But they've turned the movies into the anime, and now, how did you feel about seeing an anime adaptation, like, and just having Dragon Ball Z back after all these years into an anime? How did that make? How did you feel about that?
I mean, I was super excited when I first heard about the anime coming back, and of course, you actually managed to talk me into watching it in Japanese, and that was the first show that I ever really tried to sit down and watch in Japanese. And obviously I don't speak Japanese, I don't understand Japanese, so the only thing we could do was sit there and read the subtitles. But that was the first time I had ever really done that on my own volition. And I'm really glad that we did that, because seeing the entire series in Japanese, and then seeing the changes that were made when they started doing the English dub, is really interesting.
Yeah, it gives the best of both worlds in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was great seeing, hearing Sean Schemmel back as Goku, because that's who we both grew up as being the voice of Goku. Chris Sabat being back as Vegeta, obviously it was a big hit for me. I'm a huge Vegeta fan, you know that. And it was just it was great hearing all those voices back, but it was also you like I said, and what is changed for us stupid Americans.
Yeah, exactly. Because they could be a serious. Because just between the Japanese voice actor and the English voice actor, there's a tone that's set for Goku, and obviously you can see the tone of serious, and even though he's goofing around, he doesn't sound like he's goofing around in Japanese, right? And then when you get the English dub, it's like Goku's not serious at all. He just sounds like a little kid the whole time. And it's different to feel those two different type of vibes, and you see it throughout the whole series as well, between Japanese and then in the English, and which I love both. I used to not like the Japanese voice actor, God bless her, and then eventually I started liking that one a little bit more, but I still love Sean Schemmel, obviously. But
oh yeah, and I will give the credit where it's due to Funimation this time around. They did stick a lot closer to the source material this time.
Yeah.
Whereas when they created Z, especially the first several seasons, they downplayed the ignorance level of Goku in the English dubs, and they made him more of the savior superhero type of character. They, a lot of people will sit there and tell you that they turned him almost into a Superman kind of character, especially through the Frieza arc, where we see Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time. They didn't do that here. They kept it close to what we saw in the Japanese dub.
Yeah.
And I was really appreciative of that, because now that I'm older, and I understand what they went in and changed, it's a little disappointing that, they felt they had to make that change for us back then. And it's really nice to see them trying to be as faithful as possible to the source material, but yet still give us characters that we recognize from what we grew up with.
Yeah, because Goku was never meant to be a superhero. He fought who messed with what he wanted, but it's not like he did it to protect the United States. You know what I mean? He did it because that was wrong of that person to do, so he's gonna stop. Not because he felt like, oh, if I don't stop him, you know, who will do? You know, it's just like that's not who Goku was. Goku just kind of stumbled upon everything, and he's like, oh, I gotta stop him because that's not right. He's
Well,
like,
yeah, and it's not so much that he stumbled upon it. It was more of, when somebody big, bad, and strong showed up, Goku went to go fight them because he wanted to fight them, not for some altruistic superhero mentality. Like, oh, if I don't destroy him, he's going to destroy the world. That's not the way Goku looked at it.
yeah,
It was mainly, hey, he's strong. I want to go fight him to see how strong I am, and if I'm not strong enough, then I want to get stronger so I can beat him.
exactly.
It was that kind of mentality that got changed in Dragon Ball Z between the Japanese and the English dubs. But it was really nice to see them almost. And the fact that they went to that with Dragon Ball Super, where they didn't change that aspect of Goku's personality, it didn't take anything away from what we saw.
Yeah, this was a good, like, anything that, even though it's a sequel series to, like, Dragon Ball Z or a continuation, however you want to see it, it keeps, like, everything that is done in Z and brings it to Super. So, you know, it's not like how Pokemon just, like, oh, Ash is going to a new region and he forgets, like, everything, you know, everything that happened beforehand. Like, no.
Yeah.
It's brought along and it fleshes out throughout the arcs, and we'll talk more about that as we get to them. But yeah, they did a good job keeping up to what the Japanese source material of the anime had.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was good, and then for me, it was good to. It was like I was excited for Z because like that's when for Dragon Ball Super and the movies, it's the first time I really went into looking at spoilers for stuff because I really couldn't wait. Because I remember reading online, I don't even know where I read it online, about the movie, and then like the leaks of the images came out, and no one knew why Goku was all red and everything, and you know, just looking for the source, like the images and stuff of the spoilers, like it was really the first time I ever done that. And so I was really on top of everything that came out in this series, and it didn't ruin anything for me because it was always the journey, not the destination. Because like I knew where we're going with this, because obviously it's in between what we've seen in Z, so we knew that what would happen at the end when it gets there. And then we seen the movies, so there wasn't that much until we got to the other arcs. But it was really exciting to be, because I don't really remember how it was before Super came back, or Dragon Ball came back, because I remember just Z, and then I don't remember how I lived before that. If that makes sense. Like how I am now. I don't remember anything other than probably rewatching it and rewatching the movies and stuff, I guess. But there was nothing really new until Super came out, and it was really cool to see that, you know, it's saying, oh, it's not like GT. That's what I was worried about. It's like I was like, is this real? Like, is this quote unquote canon, which is like thrown around everywhere now? And they're like, yes, this will connect. And then they told us a time frame. I'm like, oh my god, like it's really gonna continue. Like I couldn't keep myself together. And then watching the movies for the first time, and then it was just seeing all the characters back, and you know how they sound and how it goes and how nice it looked in the movies. It was just great to have it back. And now whether we're on this, I don't know, you want to call it hiatus or waiting to see what they do next, is killing me.
Yeah.
Well, we got the manga.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, and I mean, you know, with the manga, of course, we have an idea of where they're going to go next.
Yeah.
But it'll just be interesting to see how they adapt it into anime form.
Yeah, because it's always like just the animation or the manga brought to life is what is so great to see when it happens.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll go to the next point. So, did our characters change from the last time we've seen them? So obviously it's been a while since we've seen any of our favorite characters back, you know, what they're doing. So like mostly the difference is that none of them really did change. I mean,
Actually, that's
not
not
like
entirely true.
not like
I
super
mean,
like not like super turnaround change, but there were some minor differences between all of them.
yeah, I mean, obviously, one thing for sure, Goku has not changed since he was about 12 years old.
Yeah,
You know, he's gotten
Yeah.
taller, he's gotten stronger,
he
but
got a
his
job.
mentality, his well,
The boy was
if
a
you want to
farmer.
say Chi-Chi, well, that was because Chi-Chi was forcing him to do it.
He got a job.
And it's not really a job. He was
Hey man,
growing his own food and then taking it into town and selling it.
I felt related because like at that point in time, I just got a job, so I was like, man, me and my boy Goku grinding out here. But yeah, but Goku did change, and this is like one of probably the one that I kind of like beat myself over with, and then what I hear everyone else say, because this is like really something touched upon, is that Goku is like super more childish than he is, and we'll get into like that later, do the out the arcs, because like sometimes he does some stuff. I'm like, Goku, what the fuck? What?
Yeah.
Like just the little comments and stuff he does, and I'm just like, Goku, like, because like compared to like other stuff, like let's see, how can I compare it? Like when because this is the most recent one because I was rewatching Dragon Ball Z Abridged, but when Goku teleported to save Tien and Piccolo from Cell after he absorbed 17. Like when he confronted Cell and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna like," he gave that speech of like, "Your end is coming, Cell," and Cell's like, "Oh yeah," like that. You don't see that much until like Goku is faced with an enemy in Super, but other than that, he's just like. He's just like Goten in a sense of how his attitude is, and I really wish that
Yeah.
they kind of changed that up a little bit because I get it, like he's sort of a pure of heart character, he's not going to change, but he can sort of be serious when the time comes. When well, not really, not serious because that would completely change who he is, but they just kind of double down on like, oh, he's gonna be a little kid, but
Yeah.
mostly
Well,
when he
I mean,
fights.
there are moments where he does get serious.
Yeah, he does. Like when he fights and
but
and there's some parts in other arcs where we'll bring that up when he gets serious. But yeah, I think but Goku kind of like just the way he is kind of changed a little bit, but he's still Goku at heart to the T.
yeah. Obviously, most everybody except for Goku and Vegeta have stopped training since Boo's destruction.
Yeah.
I mean, Tien not so much. I mean, he still does train, but obviously he's way behind Goku and Vegeta.
Oh yeah.
And Yamcha, he gave up on being a fighter a long time ago.
After Tien whooped his ass.
And then
Krillin's a
Krillin,
cop.
I mean, yeah, Krillin's a cop, so he hasn't been training as much. He's been more, doing his police work.
Yeah, doing the
And then-
strongest human thing.
Yeah. Of course, Piccolo's still doing his solo act.
I'll say he's training. I mean, mentally.
Mentally, yeah, but it's almost he's stronger than Tien, but he's still way behind Goku and Vegeta.
Mhm.
And then, of course, Gohan, he's completely
Oh.
stopped training.
Goodness.
He's gone scholar full time, which I mean is good for him. That's what he wants to be.
So he's a
but
scholar. Was he a
it
teacher
doesn't-
or was he a?
Yeah, I believe he was already teaching at that point.
Yeah, okay. Because I was like, wait, I know he was something. Yeah, everyone else is basically the same. Boma's still Boma. Chi-Chi's still Chi-Chi. Like, there's no drastic change like of anyone's personality and that's pretty good how they kept that after all these years of not doing it, and then coming back and be like, all right, we gotta, because some people might have like different voices or they can't hit the voice no more. But everyone who came back to reprise their role did a great job reprising their role. It was like if it never stopped. It never stopped.
Yeah.
So they did, it was great. I don't think anyone else had a. There were no new voice actors except for the new characters, right?
No, the
For
voice
English
actor
dub,
for
yeah.
Bulma for the English dub changed. Of course, the voice actor for Bulma in the Japanese dub will be different from this point going forward.
Yeah, she passed
seeing
away.
as how, yeah, she passed away unfortunately,
Yeah.
which is sad, but it does happen. Yeah, but other than that, I think everybody else pretty much stayed the same.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else.
You
had a
can
major-
tell. You can tell though it's been years since they've done the voices because their voice inflections do sound a little different. They sound older.
Yeah. But it's not like it's not drastic. So
Yeah, no, it wasn't anything huge.
yeah. All right. So now, a big thing about this is again, we know from the movies, but the introduction of gods being the villains or antagonists. So when we meet Whis and Beerus, and we're being told that they're gods, how did you feel about that being like the next step? And that opens a bunch of doors down the line too.
Yeah, it was interesting because we'd kind of gotten a little bit of that beforehand. It almost seems like with every big arc, we get a little bit of an introduction into a higher being,
Yeah,
so to
higher
speak,
being
because
or strength
obviously,
or something. Yeah.
yeah, because obviously in the beginning of Z, we got the introduction of King Kai, which is an elevation above the basically an elevation above Kami. I don't think we ever met King Yama in Dragon Ball. Did we?
No, I don't think so either. Because Goku never died.
Okay.
Krillin
So
died.
we met. Yeah, we met King Yama as well. So actually, King Yama would be a level above Kami, and then King Kai would be a level above Yama.
And then
And then in the Buu Saga, we got introduced to
Supreme Kai.
Supreme Kais. We found out that there were 4 of them, but now there's only 1 left because of Buu.
Yeah.
And then now we get introduced into the Gods of Destruction, which we later find out actually go hand in hand with the Supreme Kais.
Yeah, and I like the introduction of gods because it's more lore building. Because we really don't know much about outside of quote unquote gods, other than the Supreme Kais that died to Majin Buu. Because that's where that ends, and we don't get like, oh well, what about other ones? And later we see other ones, from different universes. But that it's great lore building because now we know that, and then that spiraled off in games, and you got like the demon god or whatever, god of demons, remember, from Xenoverse, and then you got the Supreme Kai of Time. Then it branches off in that, which aren't real yet, but I'm pretty sure down the line they will be. I don't see why not, because we'll get there eventually. but just seeing when they sent the teaser, because there's always a teaser for these things, and when you see that the title was revealed to Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, just thinking Goku is going to fight a god was the most craziest thing to think of at that time without any faces or explanation of what that meant. Because
I went into the whole thing completely blind. Like, so when I heard it was Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods, I didn't know if it was Goku fighting a god or if it was 2 gods fighting each other and then Goku got caught in the middle, that kind of thing. But it was...
Yeah,
because I didn't go searching for any of the spoilers. I
just read whatever was given to me at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't honestly. I think you had mentioned it to me, and I don't know.
Oops.
I don't think there was any other way I came about knowing about it, and so I was truly going into it blind because I only read a little bit about some of the other specials they had before that.
Yeah, just
So I had no idea where this was going. But it was a nice and it was a pleasant surprise. It was really enjoyable.
just to see, and then with that with Beerus and Whis, it's cool to see how like when you think of like just thinking before even knowing who they were or seeing how they're designed, be like, man, Goku's fighting a god, man, that dude must be crazy, and then you get a cat. It's just crazy how that works. And then later it gets crazier with all the other gods, but introducing the gods is such a cool way to like have higher stakes, because like you can't just say, like, we'll get to it in a minute, but like you can't just say, oh, Goku beats a god, he's unstoppable. Like, you know, there has to be like a bigger stake than that, and then we see that down the line.
Yeah.
But it was really good. So after the introduction, we've introduced to Beerus and Whis, and you know Beerus wakes up because he has a premonition. Well, in the anime, he's actually doing his duties. You see him do his duties. He's traveling to this planet of, I don't know what they are, like cavemen or something. And you know
he's looking for a specific piece of meat because he's hungry.
Yeah.
And he heard how this was supposed to be. He heard how this meat was supposed to be like the best in the universe or some shit like that. And he tries it and it doesn't quite measure up to what he thought it would be, and so he destroys their planet.
Yeah. So on the way back from that, he gets a premonition because he falls asleep and wakes up about a Super Saiyan God, and he asks Whis.
No, it was when he destroyed the planet. The bright flash of the explosion triggered his memory of the prediction that had been given to him.
Yeah, and then he talks about it to Whis when he's teleporting back to where they're going.
Yeah.
And then he's brought up to like what he was, and he was like, then you find out that the little like tidbits of, you know, Frieza was supposed to blow it up. I told him to, and then talk about where the another one's at, and Whis knows where a Saiyan's at, and he's on a Kai's planet, so they go there, and there's a bunch of shenanigans going on at that point with Goku training, but then Beerus shows up, and then you already know when Goku meets someone he doesn't know, they fight. So,
yeah.
And at this point, we could talk about, I mean, we can kind of go to this point. The animation at this point is really, it's not
rough.
It's rough, yes. It's really rough.
It's really rough.
And just to clarify, they had 6 weeks to make this, guys. That, you're lucky you even got this. And instead of saying, oh, insert title here, and insert movie here, and insert movie 2 here, and then Universe 6 Saga, they actually went back and redid it so it could be different from the movie. So they were rushed. It was rushed. They got it out. They went back on the Blu-ray and fixed it, so you're fine. I know there's a lot of crybabies out there. Get over it.
Yeah,
you're fine.
It was basically the first two. The 2 movies did so well that they were like, okay, yeah, we've got the market for doing the anime again. People want to see this. So it was like, okay, you have this much time to get all of this out with extra footage, so that way we can get this anime started again. And it was overwhelming for them. It's understandable.
They didn't want to miss their window in a sense. Like, if they would have took the time, then it might have would have died out. Because who knows? You know, it's been a while. Like we keep saying, it's been a while since Dragon Ball's been back, and this is what the product is. So yeah, so going back, so the animation's really rough between what's happening on the screen. But yeah, so Beerus fights Goku. So that's the next topic. So Beerus fighting Goku Part 1. So how did that make you feel when you first seen that? Okay, obviously we seen the movie, but during anime. So we're talking about Part 1. So when he's on King Kai's planet.
I mean, it was cool to see Goku really back in action again, and then it's just to sit there and see that Beerus was toying with him for the first couple couple of seconds, and then when he actually, I mean, Beerus didn't even have to pull out all the stops. It's like it was largely reminiscent of his initial fight with Frieza in a sense, because obviously even though Frieza had already gone to his final transformation, he wasn't using all of his power.
Yeah.
And then they were both they were feeling each other out for the longest period of time. And then they really got into it, but you know, we never see that from Beerus. We never see. Yes, he's toying with Goku. You know, he's entertaining him essentially, because he wants to see he wants to see the full extent of Goku's power as well. But you know, so he's allowing himself to be hit for a little bit. Although at first he's not. When Goku's just in Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan 2, he doesn't allow Goku to touch him.
Yeah, and the Super Saiyan 3, that's when he's just like, oh, okay, I can sense something.
Yeah,
but I guess.
Yeah, that was the thing. It's like, wait, he just went to Super Saiyan 3, and now you feel something? Like, holy crap, how strong is this guy?
Yeah, just seeing Super Saiyan 3 get flexed on like that, I was like, bro, he's dead. They're dead. There's no way.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way. And then he put him in the freaking dirt. And then he was just like, alright, I'm out. Thanks, Kai.
And then it's like, yeah, when he sat there and he just straight up knocked out Goku, I was like, okay, how the hell is Goku gonna come up and win this one? Because if you remember the cover of the movie itself, I know we're talking about the anime, but the cover of the movie, when we first saw it, you know, the cover shows him in Super Saiyan form, not in Super Saiyan God form.
Yeah.
So it's like, how the hell is he putting up this kind of a fight? Or where are we going to get to that point in the struggle? And how is Super Saiyan going to put up that kind of fight when, you know, we've got something, when he's obviously so fast that Super Saiyan can't even touch him?
Yeah, any type, yeah, any form. It's very cool to see, because a lot of people get confused when I say I love when Goku gets outdone in a fight. But like, why would you like that? I was like, cause like, it makes you think, what's gonna happen, bro? Like, Goku's the top dog, so how is he gonna get back into it? Like, it's always a learning lesson. So Goku gets fucking obliterated, no questions asked. And then so Whis tells Beerus about Vegeta, who's on Earth. So they go to Earth, and now this is where it kind of differs from, obviously it super differs, because different location and different outcomes throughout the anime. But it also is a different tone for Whis and Beerus, because in the movie, because I rewatched both Resurrection F and Battle of Gods yesterday, and in the movie they're kind of jokingly and smiley, and you know, jokes are said back and forth. But when and then like when in the movie, when Whis and Beerus go to Vegeta and Vegeta's looking for him, they're sitting in the lawn chair, relaxing, drinking a drink, like they're just chilling, relaxing, like haha. But in the anime, they have more of a menacing touch to both of them. Because like he's talking to Vegeta, and Vegeta's like running around trying to figure it out. And when he finally sees him, Vegeta's like in a panic, and he's talking to him in this, and Beerus is talking in this like evil, menacing tone. Even Whis is saying some stuff, but he's not like all giggly and laughy like he is in Battle of Gods. It's a serious tone of like, oh bro, they're both serious at this point. So it's a different tone you see throughout there, other than the happy-go-lucky version we got in the anime, and I sort of like that, because obviously Beerus is a great character, but it's good to see that they're trying to show you like he's not a good guy. Who, like, at the point, because they showed him as a good guy for a time being, but even though he threatened like, oh, I'll destroy this place if they can make me mad, or I'll destroy this place if the food's bad. But in this one, but in the movie, like, he was joking around, dancing, laughing, shaking people's hands and saying hi, nice to meet you. But in the anime, it's like, nah, bro, I want my answers or everyone's dead. That's like how it goes. And so the next part, skipping a few because I get to the good stuff. So obviously, King Kai tells Vegeta about it. Vegeta's trying to make sure Beerus doesn't blow the hinges and blow everyone up. So he's playing like a lapdog kind of. You know, I gotta make sure everything goes okay. No one makes him mad. Blah blah blah. But then it happens, and over some pudding, like in the movie, and Majin Buu and Beerus get into it, and now this is where we go, everyone versus Beerus. So the everyone versus Beerus is Gohan, Majin Buu, Piccolo, Goten, Trunks, 18, Tien, Krillin, and Vegeta at the last point. So how many is that? Like, I counted on my fingers and then I closed them. That's like 9 people, isn't it? Like 9 or 10 people fighting Beerus, and what happens? They're all decimated. They're all the point where
I'm pretty sure Majin Buu gets tossed into the water in the anime.
Yeah, he does that, but before hitting Gohan, Buu's ass was in Gohan's face and slammed into the water. And then I sort of liked it better in the movie, because in the movie, Gohan and Buu both try to fight him at the same time, and that's sort of a shadow, like, oh, they try to kill each other in the fucking Dragon Ball Z. It's so cool. But then in the movie, he grabs both of them, headbutts them, and slaps them, and then throws them together. And I'm like, oh. But in the anime, it's just like he just throws Buu's fat ass in his face, and I mean, it's still funny. Yeah, but no one could stand up to him at that point. No one could. No one had a chance. And it was really cool. But that's pretty cool, because I was hoping that someone would try to fight him, and they did. I didn't know what I expected from it, but this is how it played out. They all just flat out and lost. And it was really, it's really cool to see that they did give him a part, because mostly, like, even in the Cell games, bro, I'll go back there, like, no one really jumped in and helped, if you think about it. It was like Goku.
Yeah.
They go on, everyone's like, alright, you guys get him. We trained, but y'all get him. I mean, Yamcha was there, like, come on, bro. Oh, I even forgot to mention Yamcha in the lineup. Yamcha was there.
Dude, he didn't fight, though.
Yeah, I know, but I just forgot to mention him.
He sat back with Master Roshi and Oolong and just watched.
Yeah, so
he's like, yeah, I haven't trained in years. I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, so after that, Goku comes back. Fast forwarding. Oh, actually, no. Let's talk about the Vegeta. I forgot to mention Vegeta. So Vegeta's like, fuck it. You know, I might as well join in the fight too. So he tries to join in the fight, and then Josh's favorite part happens. Go ahead, Joe. You can talk about this part.
So it happens a little differently in the movie and in the anime. So in the movie, Bulma is just, at this point, she is like piss drunk, and she gets mad at Beerus for making a fuss, and of course, I think in both the movie and the anime, she slaps him. Now, in the anime, it's after, of course, the initial fight, she gets mad at him. And so then she slaps him. Beerus slaps her back, and she goes down hard. And Vegeta flips the fuck out. And it is literally my favorite moment in both the movie and the anime. Except for, obviously, Super Saiyan Blue Evolved.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Which we'll get to later.
Yeah,
but it was just that moment. How dare you hit my Bulma? And he just
flips the fuck out.
Flips the fuck out.
In the anime, he
goes
doesn't have
straight
pupils.
to Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah, in the anime, he doesn't have pupils, but in the movie, he did, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
In anime, he had like pure.
So he goes straight to Super Saiyan 2, and I forget if it was in both or if it was just in the movie, but Roshi like immediately goes like, he can sense how strong Vegeta has just become, and it's like he comments that all of a sudden Vegeta has become stronger than Goku, and we're talking stronger than Goku at Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And he was Super Saiyan 2 only, so yeah, that was really straight.
Yeah. So to sit there and so not only does he become momentarily stronger than Goku, but it shows you that Vegeta is still keeping with his training as well. He hasn't tried to become Super Saiyan 3, but he's still training himself to get stronger. Because if he hadn't done any kind of training from the time that the Buu Saga ended to the time that the God of Destruction Saga started, there's no way, even with the Rage boost, he would have become stronger than Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah,
so he is putting the work in.
Yeah, because he landed hits on Beerus compared to what Goku couldn't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, all of a sudden, he was... And it actually shocked Beerus for a second.
Yeah.
Like, not to the point to where he got scared or anything, but it was just like, oh, shit, where's this come from?
Yeah, I think that's how he landed the punches, because Beerus is like, what the... Kyle, what? And then he got this fucking...
And then he got a little serious and just...
Yeah, took him out.
And still just wrecked him.
Yeah. And now Goku comes in at this point. Because I think, Goku comes in, and I forgot to mention that they were looking for the God of Destruction. I mean, the Super Saiyan God. So Goku does what Goku does and thinks of a plan, and Shenron and asking about the Super Saiyan God, get told the story about what happened and and they figure out how to do it. So 5 pure Saiyans of heart give their energy to someone, and that's how the ritual is. Sort of reminiscent of how the Saiyans gave Goku the energy in Dragon Ball GT to fully power up Super Saiyan 4. I'm guessing that's where they got it from. If you guys don't think that, I mean, I don't know where else the symbol. I mean, you could put them side by side and literally say it's the same thing. So they're trying to figure out how to do it, and they can't do it. At first, they try to, and it's just powering. It's like temporary boost of power because it's all their spirit energy or whatever. And then Whis like, y'all stupid. There's only 4 of you. It's 5 into 1, not 4 into 1 to make 5. So they need a 5th one, and they think they're bummed out. And then that's where it's told that Videl is pregnant. And as soon as they find that out, they're like, alright, there's a baby in there. That's a pure Saiyan, right? All babies are pure heart. Shout out to fucking Piccolo. But hey, so let's do the ritual. So they do the ritual, and somehow it worked, and you get Super Saiyan God. So let's talk about Super Saiyan God really quick. How do you feel all this about Super Saiyan God? Because Super Saiyan God in discussion is up to debate for like hardcore fans or the newcomers. Because some people really don't like Super Saiyan God. So how do you feel about Super Saiyan God in a whole before we start talking about the fights and whatnot?
So I do like it. I mean, I think it looks cool. I think it's adding to the lore. It's something new to explore for the characters. But I will admit, when it first happened, I was a little wary, because it's like at this point you have them literally tapping into God energy, and it's like, okay, well, where do you go from here in the story? How are you going to one up that? And that did have me legitimately worried for a while, especially after seeing the Battle of Gods movie. It's like, where do you go from there? Like, you just attained the level of the gods. So it's like, how do you go past that? And it's like, because you have to have something that one ups that, even if you're just gonna do another movie.
Yeah.
And so when I found out that they were doing Resurrection F, it was like, okay, how are they gonna have Frieza be, the guy to one up a god? So it did leave me legitimately worried there for a while that they were gonna, that they were gonna this whole revival of Dragon Ball was gonna be a flash in the pan, and it was just gonna fizzle out real quick.
Yeah, because like I think people, because at that time I think people misunderstood what being a god was. Because you see Beerus and they talk about God of Destruction, and you know the Whis is his assistant, but he's also stronger than him. Mm-hmm. And so when they see God, they think of Beerus, and they're like, okay, Beerus is this super destructive dude, and obviously. And then when they got Goku to Super Saiyan God, I feel like people misunderstood and thought, oh, well, then he's as strong as Beerus now because he's using God energy. And that's kind of like what I feel like a lot of people got confused at that part. Because in the movie, they didn't explain it at all. Honestly, he got it and they fought. But that's the movie. Yeah. You have a certain amount of time for a fight to go on until... And you don't have explanations, you don't have this or that. You know, they need to have the fight for the movie. But in here, they actually explained it a little bit more throughout the time going. But I feel like people kind of misunderstood that, yes, he tapped into God energy, but that didn't make him invincible. Because I know I talked to some friends and they're like, bro, how is he going to be a Super Saiyan God and still get his ass whooped? Well, bro, it's just he tapped into the energy, not into the full powers of a god. He is not on the same level as Beerus or anywhere close. He's at the bottom. Very bottom. Barely in the gas chamber of what it is. Because it proves fact because he runs out of it during the end of this. And even in the story, it said that the person who was a Super Saiyan God the first time ran out of it. So that's just something
because it has a 30-minute time limit.
Yeah, because like if your body's not used to it, then obviously it's not going to stay there forever. Beerus trained for what he was, tapped into God energy, trained in that, and became a god of destruction, which is probably like the strongest in the universe compared to someone else that we're not going to talk about at that time. So, so that's why I feel like a lot of people people fell off from it because they're like, how is he going to be a god and get beat up back here? But that was my understanding, is even back then, was that, okay, Goku got God powers, but it doesn't mean that, you know, he's going to walk around and be godly and just like, no, and just smack someone. Like, I understand, it takes time. It's just like any other power boost you get, unlocking your potential, unlocking what fucking Elder Kai did for Gohan, what the hyperbolic time chamber does. It's just something you can do to train and get stronger at the time being.
Yeah,
it's how it is for everybody. But I loved Super Saiyan God. The colors were very nice. You know, it was different, obviously, going from yellow hair to red. But I really liked it. It was really cool. I kind of liked how sleeker he looked. Like he did look his his body did change.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to see.
I love Chi-Chi's comment.
What'd she say?
About him looking years younger, and she's getting older still.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I liked the idea of Super Saiyan God. I like it. I like the lore. I hope one day we get to see who those Saiyans, even if it's in a short, like a 30-minute short. I would like to see those Saiyans try to revolt against the evil Saiyans on planet Vegeta and see who it was. I mean, I think we get his name Yamoshi. I think that's his name.
Something like that.
Yeah. So we get his name, but we don't see it. And a lot of people thought, breaking off of what I have on the guideline, theory-wise, a lot of people think that the Super Saiyan God is related to Vegeta because in the little flashback they show, because there's a little animation for it, the guy who became Super Saiyan God has the hair of Vegeta. Like, it's the same. It looks like Vegeta outlined because it's like a silhouette, but you can see the hair and everything, and it looks just like Vegeta. People theorize that Yamoshi's a descendant of Vegeta, but that's not proven fact or anything. But a lot of people think that till this day. So, but I would like to see. Yeah. I would like to see something like that.
Yeah, it would be nice, you know, just to kind of give us. I mean, You know, it would be very similar to the original Bardock special.
Yeah, or even the one where he became Super Saiyan. It'll be original to that.
Yeah.
Like we don't need it. Like I don't need to see this happen, but it would be cool if we did. Like
I know I prefer that Bardock over the Bardock we got in the Broly movie.
No, yeah, that'd be so cool. But but Super Saiyan God, cool with me. I liked it. So let's see, where am I at? How to check an email. Okay. I lost myself. Alright, so now we're getting into Goku versus Beerus Part 2, and then after that, it was basically over, and we'll go over what's the good and bad, and did we like the arc. So, Goku versus Beerus Part 2, majorly different from the movie. In the movie, like I said, you have a certain time span of how long a fight can go on, because you're already in a time crunch of a movie, in a sense, an hour, almost 2 hours. So we didn't really get to see Goku play around with this God power. He just got it. He's like, all right, I'm using it. But in the anime, you can see Goku struggling. He's too fast. He doesn't know how to control that power output. Doesn't know how to do really anything with it because it's something that he can't grab a hold of because it's new. And Beerus is sort of coaching him while he's doing it, and you see him teaching him and everything. And in the movie, you hear Piccolo say, "Oh, it sounds like Beerus is coaching him," but in the movie, it didn't really seem that way. It was mostly a conversation of why don't you like this power, Goku? I mean, you're as strong as a god, and Goku's just like, "Oh, because I can't get there by myself." And then that's when Piccolo's like, "It sounds like he's coaching him," and I didn't understand that at that point, but in the anime, it makes sense now because he is coaching him in the anime. And you get to see a bunch of other stuff as well.
Yeah, a couple of things that I liked about the second fight was the fact that the fight of God energy versus God energy, or God ki versus God ki, it has external effects.
Yeah.
In the fact that every time their punches connected, it sent ripples of energy through the universe and actually was beginning to threaten to destroy the universe if they kept fighting.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing that I liked that happened in the anime and not in the movie was when Goku lost the power, when his time ran out and he dropped out of Super Saiyan God. In the anime, he went to Super Saiyan.
Uh-huh.
When he regained the will to fight. And, of course, in the movie, he automatically powers back up to Super Saiyan God.
Oh, you mean
after he starts falling? Yeah. After he starts falling back to Earth, in the movie, he powers back up into Super Saiyan God and then continues to fight.
When everyone's like... Yeah, when he's trying to get Beerus's energy blast, right?
Yeah,
because it's that whole ending part is completely different to what the movie has.
Yeah, but in the anime, obviously, he only goes to Super Saiyan. But in the anime, basically he comments that all of a sudden, or Beerus comments that Goku is all of a sudden so much stronger in his Super Saiyan form, and is actually now able to keep up with him. Mm-hmm. And it's... he finally says out loud what we as fans have kind of known for years, is that once a Saiyan's body experiences a certain level of power, they begin to learn it. They retain part of it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened with Goku.
For the ending part, I sort of didn't like how Goku got rid of Beerus's orb. I didn't like versus the movie, because in the anime he just punches it and it's just gone. Versus the sentimental of Goku's basically saying I can't do it, and basically his body gives out, and he's free falling in the movie, and he hears everyone cries out for him because he knows that basically that thing's gonna hit him, and that thing's gonna hit the Earth, and they're all dead. And he taps back into the power of God, which is cool, and it leaves you thinking like, okay, well he did that, so that means he could somehow tap into it later. But versus the anime, he turns Super Saiyan like you said, and we have no indication of if he could ever do that again. So it's kind of like.
But the reason I liked it in the anime is because it left something for him to try to attain again on his own. It left him something to work for. Whereas the fact in the movie he was able to automatically do it again meant he didn't have to work for it. He didn't have to try and attain it again. He didn't have to figure out how to get it on his own because he just did it.
Well, that's not necessarily true because Beerus asked him, because he does it, but he doesn't remember how he did it, because he even says it in the movie. Because Beerus is like, "How'd you do that? How'd you go back to it?" And he was like, "I don't know." Like, and he's like, "I don't know how I did it. I'm spent." Because and that goes into like okay, he doesn't know how to do it, but he can do it. But versus the anime where it's like, oh, okay, I guess he just punches the ball, and that goes with him being stronger. I mean, I guess, but it's just more of a kind of after everything we've seen. That would have been a perfect thing to copy from the movie out of anything else they copied. Is put that there, because then it would be like, okay, because then that made people think like, so can he not go back into it? Are we gonna just see like something completely different? Like, will he go back into it soon? Will he train to go back into it, into the next arc that we see, which will be like, well, which we already know what it is, and we already seen what happens. But there was a lot of differences in the movie and anime, so we didn't know where we were going from there. But I just didn't like how it was cooler that he just like tore apart the ball, like with his energy or whatever he did, absorbed it in him, whatever, than him just punching it and it just disappearing. But
yeah,
that's basically it. And there's like other than the fighting, there was nothing really different throughout the fight, other than fist clashes, mentoring and tutoring of how to use the God power, and then just the end we just talked about. Other than that, the fight is still somewhat the same, and the outcome's still the same. So Goku, So Goku's kind of like just stops it. Beerus quote unquote falls asleep and runs out of energy. Doesn't destroy Earth. Whis takes him away. He was faking it. Different from the anime as well. Beerus actually says, you know what? I'm out of energy. I'm just gonna go home. I'll be back later. Bring food next time.
No. He points at a rock and blows it up and is like, there, I destroyed the Earth.
No, yeah, versus what, he just falls asleep in his stance. And he fake sleep. Which is sort of like better because, we don't know if he was really going to come back in the anime. Because we do know because the movie, but to switch it up, we don't know how, because of the differences already, we don't know how they're setting up Beerus in the anime now. At that point, we're like, bro, so is he really gonna come back and blow it up? Did he really fall asleep? But then we find out he was lying, and we said, you can stop fake sleeping now. We're far enough. Cause I wasn't fake sleeping, all right. So we get to see a little Goku always has his character always changes somebody in some shape or form.
Yeah, well, it was the fact that he was in both that. He was able to easily, in the movie, he was easily able to reattain the power, and then, of course, in the anime, he was able to, his body was able to retain what the power felt like.
Yeah.
It basically intrigued Beerus because he wanted to see if Goku could get stronger and be more of a fight for him. He wanted to see if he could be the Super Saiyan God that he had dreamed of.
And the food.
Yeah, that helped. The food helped.
All right, so
once again, the world saved by Bulma.
Yep. So now, okay, we went over the differences already. So, what was the good that came out of this arc? What was the good? What do you think was good about this arc?
Oh, well, the biggest thing is seeing all of our favorite characters again.
Most definitely.
After being years away. The introduction of Beerus, Whis, Super Saiyan God, the idea that there's something more to attain in the series. Like, the series has a place to progress to from there.
Yeah.
because not only you've got Goku trying to figure out how to get back to that state on his own, but now you've got Vegeta trying to figure it out as well. So you've got the rekindling of the old rivalry.
Well, that's something different too that we didn't really talk about. We can get into that in a minute. But yeah, the difference is between because I don't think they said in the anime, because after going over it last night, in the movie, when Vegeta's watching Goku fight Beerus in God form, he's like, that damn Kakarot, always getting the new forms or whatever, and then he's watching him fight, and sweat drops down his forehead, and he was like, I'm glad it's not me this time, or I'm glad it's him. Versus the anime where he didn't say that at all. So you know, that's kind of different, because we don't know how Vegeta feels like until later in the next arc we talk about. But yeah, you really don't see that, and it's a huge difference, because in Z, Vegeta's mentality of Goku is he's the best, because he says in the Buu Saga, he knows he won't be like Goku, and he can't do what Goku does. But then when he comes back, he wants that power. He's like, no, I lied. That God power got to be mine too, Goku. I'm sorry. Fuck it. Like, he wants it too, and it goes down the back. Yeah, like you said, the rekindling of what their rivalry is. But
yeah.
But I
mean, naturally, obviously, the rivalry has changed from what it was in Z, because in Z it was more of Vegeta trying to attain and surpass Goku so he could potentially one day beat him. Mm-hmm. But now it's trying to make sure that it's more of a I'm trying to make sure that Goku doesn't get too far away from me kind of rivalry. Yeah. So it's like I need to keep up with him, or I need to be better than him. Because obviously, the scary thing for Vegeta was, because of his mentality shift, that he cares so much more for his family now. So he fears that if there's somebody as strong as Beerus and Whis out there, while those two may not be like straight up evil, they did threaten to destroy the Earth. Or Beerus threatened to destroy the Earth. And probably would have gone through with it if he hadn't liked the food and hadn't found somebody like Goku to fight against him. So it's more of, he doesn't want Goku to get too far, but he also wants to be strong enough in case for some reason Goku can't be there to save the day. He wants to be able to protect the people he cares about.
Yeah, you see that in this arc too, because once Goku goes down, even in the anime they stress that. I mean, the movie, that once Goku's out, it's up to Vegeta. And in the movie, King Kai tells Vegeta, "It's all up to you, bud. Don't screw this up." And Vegeta's like, "Oh, yeah, fuck."
And you notice that when Goku and Vegeta are not Goku and Vegeta, but when Goku and Beerus are up in the sky fighting, he's not flying after them. He's not trying to watch them directly. He's still on the ship. He's closed his eyes, and he is trying to sense them.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out whether because God, you can't sense your regular ki. I mean, divine ki is different. You have to be trained in that to sense that. Unlike regular powers.
But we also see, like, where everybody else can't sense where they're at, Vegeta starts to towards the end of the battle. He starts to be able to figure it out.
Yeah. No, so that's really cool. And I second mostly what everything that Josh says. I really liked everyone coming back. I like the introduction of gods and the new Super Saiyan God. Because eventually going through Super Saiyans, it's the same thing, but just, more hair is kind of like getting ridiculous at that point. And,
yeah.
And I like the idea of it. And I like how it ended. I liked how it ended to the point where, it's like, all right, what's next? Like, what's next after this? What did Beerus dropping down to Earth open for this series, because that's basically what happens next in the next arc. Well, it had nothing to do with Beerus, but it just spiraled off into.
Well, it sort of did.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah. So now, what was the bad of this arc? What didn't you like about this arc?
Oops. That's tough. Because I mean, I don't really like to say negative things about it, because this is one of the better arcs of Super, obviously. But let's see how do I want to say this?
You want me to go first, and then you think about it? What?
Yeah, go ahead. So I want to put this. I want to put it wording right, so that way it makes sense.
So the bad of this arc for me, and I understand the time frame, but the animation at some point kind of, and it's not really a bad like where I'm gonna be like, oh dude, I'm not gonna watch this ever again, because they fixed it in the Blu-ray, so it's 100%
sort of.
Yeah,
like it's a lot better, but it's still not perfect. And I understand there's only so much they can do.
It didn't look like a third grader drew it, and I work with kids, and I know how they draw. It didn't look like that. It's touched up, but the animation did kind of drop some people off from the anime, because they're just like, bro, I didn't go through GT and wait all these years for this. I know a lot of people fell off of it, and I remember my cousin, who was at the time was like 15, 16, telling me Dragon Ball was trash just because of that one part. I'm like, bro, Dragon Ball was out before you were born. What are you talking about? Like, you've seen all this. like you lived through what I lived through. No, you didn't. But yeah, so that kind of, I guess that's the only bad. Let's see, that and yeah, because I know I've seen like a lot of people go hard on this, and they said, but the time frame is something that you can't blame. It's not on them. It's not the designer's fault. It's not any of their fault. Obviously, they had 6 weeks to do this. So the bad for me is probably that just the animation and the fact that probably just, well, in the battle in the anime near the end, before Goku, Beerus shoots the ball at Goku and Goku punches it, is mostly like a screaming match. If you kind of remember, it's like they're screaming and powering up and punching each other. And I get it, but I can't feel like that kind of, they were stretching it. Because I really don't know how many episodes they ordered, because they fluctuate throughout the arcs completely. Because I think this is only, the first arc is only 14 episodes.
Something like that.
Or around there. And then, yeah, it fluctuates throughout all the arcs. So I don't know if they're trying to.
The two longest arcs are the Future Trunks and the
Tournament of
Universe
Power.
Survival.
Yeah.
The Tournament of Power.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're like, well, we don't have anything else to like do. I mean, I guess we could make them fight more, or we could just do this. I don't know what the thought process was, but there were some parts where I feel like they could have taken out and just made some original new fight scenes, I guess. No, that's just being really picky, because I understand they're under a certain schedule. But if they're able to just make them scream and power up and punch each other over and over for the same scene, they could have thought of something else as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's nothing really, I'm just... Well, okay, put it this way. I would 100%, and it's not being mean, because they're the same thing in the full. I feel like I preferred the movie more than the anime, even though there's slight changes. And that's mostly because of the production value. But the anime arc is good. But if you don't like what you're seeing, you could totally watch the movie and be okay with going to the next arc. Yeah. If you wanted to just be like, I don't want to watch the anime because of the movie, that's perfectly fine. You could watch the movie and then go to whatever arc you want to, and then watch it from there. Unless, the Universe 6 saga, you can go there with watching the movies. I guess that's how I see it. But those are mostly my critiques of what the bad is. So now you're up, dude.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the animation was a little bad there, but I think what was bad for me was, even though we saw a lot of the characters back, you know, they really didn't have much to do.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. That's
you know, it really was. And I mean, even Vegeta, you know, yeah, he had a little bit here and there, but it was still mainly just Goku. And I get it. You know, Goku is the main character of the show. He's been the main character since day one in Dragon Ball. I get that. But when you sit there and you create such an ensemble of a cast that they have, or cast of characters that they have now, you know, there's got to be more. At this point, I think. You know, it can't just be about Goku all of the time, every time now. You have to give everybody their own due, and I think they're starting to do that more now, and they do that later in the series, obviously.
Yeah. The specific part you're talking about, like about what you're talking about, I have a special part after we go over all of the arcs. I have a special set. We'll talk more about this certain what you're talking about, the involvement of everybody. So if you feel like you don't know how to say it right now, we're gonna circle back to it so we could talk to it about everything in a whole. So don't worry about it. Yeah, because I know what you mean. Because it gets like that to a certain point in the arcs. Because I totally feel what you're saying. Because I expressed it as well. But we have a special part for that, so we can go deeper into that. Yeah.
Yeah. But now the last part, you know, I did love this arc. I loved having Dragon Ball back in my life in, you know, an episodic format. Mm-hmm. And I know it's like, as soon as I started telling people, hey, you know, I was watching the new Dragon Ball shows, like the eye rolls started happening big time. It's like, isn't that a kid's show? It's like, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know it's the biggest problem still today too is, you know, too many people see anime as cartoons, and it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing at all. I mean, honestly, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball Super are probably the closest bridge that you have to the American cartoons and Japanese anime, because like I said, it's not the deepest show in the world. It's, you know, it really is just about guys getting stronger and beating the shit out of each other. But it's definitely not a kid's show.
It's definitely, yeah.
But I did really enjoy this arc. I loved the characters of Beerus and Whis. Obviously, I love the development they gave to Vegeta's character. You know, it was nice. Like I said, it was nice seeing everybody back again, seeing that their characters have changed since the end of the Buu saga in Dragon Ball Z. You know, to see Krillin be a cop, he's not just a fighter. You know, he's got a family that he's got to worry about. You know, so he's got a consistent way of making money. To see Gohan actually, you know, I mean, obviously we kind of knew that's the way he was going when Goku came back in the Buu saga, you know, when he was brought back to life. You know, the series no longer had to try to depend on Gohan being the number one guy.
Yeah.
And so he was free to not only develop his relationship with Videl, but he was able to go back to school. He was able to become a scholar. Obviously, Piccolo, Tien, and a few of the others haven't changed much. Like, there's not much character growth that you're going to give to Master Roshi at this point.
Yeah.
You know, it was actually nice to see him do what he did later on in the series, but At this point, you're just, he's there for comedic effect largely.
Most definitely. Yeah, because, I mean, in the next arc, we'll talk more about Roshi, because I know he has a scene. But yeah, as time goes by, Roshi gets kind of, yeah, I know what you mean. He's like just a comedy character.
Yeah. But I mean, even Oolong kind of got a little bit of time to shine in the anime.
Oh yeah, wait, hold up. Going back to my bad. So something that took 10 seconds in the movie took half an episode, or most of the episode in the anime, was Oolong doing rock paper scissors with Beerus in the anime. Took almost a full episode. That did not need to happen. I would prefer Beerus and Goku punching each other screaming than that. In the movie, it was funny because, he's a pig man. He won't believe that you have real fingers. You have hooves. Throw paper or throw rock or whatever the fuck he said. And Beerus saying, "Bro, I have ears. I can hear you." Compared to whatever they did in the anime. Yeah, that part had to go. Most definitely. I couldn't believe that one. But yeah, I forgot all about that till you said something. But yeah.
I don't remember that being in the movie. Obviously I know it was in the anime because it took like half an episode, like you said.
Yeah, in the movie, because it happened like in 10 seconds. It was just he was like, "Me? Why would you pick me?" And Yamcha's like, "Bro, you're a pig man. You have fingers. You could trick them." And they're like, "All right, bet." And then he threw it, and he was like, "Oh God!" And Beerus was like, "Yeah, I can hear you, dude. You lost." So it was that fast. But yeah, that's all I had. Were you done? I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just remembered that.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Just my overall opinion is, yeah, I love the arc.
Okay, yeah, I like the arc too. Even though it had its little things, But like I said, if you didn't like the arc, and you want people to watch this series, you could totally tell them to watch the movie. It's okay, like
you're really not missing out on a whole lot.
Yeah, other than a few minor things, but at the same point, it's the same ending. Like, you get it. It's the same conclusion.
Yeah.
Goku loses, but at the end somehow still wins. Beerus doesn't blow up the planet, and they go their separate ways for the time being. Same outcome. different way getting there. So you still get the full thing. So now that's completely how we feel, review wise, technical wise, how we felt about it of God of Destruction Saga. So now let's go into the next one, which...
It only took us an hour and a half.
Yeah, I know, dude. Think about it last time, dude. We did 2 arcs in 1 hour. So just think about what we did more of now compared to what we did back then. So now this one is